America's F-35 dominates the skies. 17 nations fly it. It's stealth-tested in real combat. But in late 2024, leaked images from a Chengdu factory fueled rumors of a secret rival. The Chinese J-36, a tailless stealth fighter so shadowy, China won't admit it exists. If this stealth war is real, do decades of proven F-35 technology win, or will a phantom jet rewrite the rules? Here's where myth collides with hard evidence, and where the next air war could be decided before anyone even knows who fired first. Lockheed Martin's F-35 Lightning II entered operational service in 2015, introducing a new standard for fifth-generation fighters. Today, it anchors the air forces of 17 nations, with thousands produced and deployed across 4 continents. Pilots from Israel, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Japan have all flown the F-35 in real-world missions, logging combat sorties in the Middle East and Indo-Pacific. These operations have tested every aspect of the jet's design: its stealth profile, its advanced avionics, and its ability to operate as part of a networked force. The F-35's reputation is built on more than just its radar-evading shape. Central to its advantage is sensor fusion, a system that blends radar, infrared, and signals intelligence into a single, real-time tactical picture. The AN/APG-81 AESA radar, combined with distributed aperture sensors and the multifunction advanced data link, allows F-35 pilots to detect, track, and share information on airborne and ground threats without ever breaking radio silence. In practice, this means an F-35 can spot adversaries before being seen, then relay that data instantly to other jets, command centers, or even ground units. During Israeli Air Force operations in 2018, pilots described the experience as seeing the battlefield through a single pane of glass, with enemy defenses neutralized before they could react. The F-35's combat record is not theoretical. In 2018, Israeli F-35s conducted the jet's first acknowledged airstrikes, reportedly penetrating heavily defended Syrian airspace. 2 years later, US Marine Corps F-35Bs flew strike and close air support missions in the Middle East, relying on their stealth and network targeting to engage threats while remaining undetected. These missions validated the jet's ability to operate in contested environments, evade advanced surface-to-air missiles, and prosecute targets deep behind enemy lines. Numbers reinforce the F-35's role as a benchmark. Over 965 aircraft had been delivered by early 2024, with more than 600,000 flight hours logged globally. 17 Allied air forces now operate the platform, and joint exercises routinely link F-35s from different countries into a single, encrypted network. The result is a force that can share sensor data, coordinate strikes, and adapt to new threats faster than any previous generation of fighters. Continuous upgrades keep the F-35 at the forefront. Block 4 modernization, rolling out through the mid-2020s, brings improved electronic warfare capabilities, new weapons like the GBU-53 Stormbreaker, and enhanced radar performance. Every lesson from the jet's operational history, whether a software bug found during a NATO exercise or a new electronic countermeasure encountered in Syria, feeds directly into these updates. The F-35's operational record sets a clear baseline, a stealth fighter not just designed for survivability, but proven in joint operations, validated in combat, and trusted by a global coalition. Any new challenger will be measured against these hard numbers and field-tested capabilities. On December 26, 2024, a set of grainy photos surfaced online, showing a tailless, diamond-shaped aircraft at the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation's sprawling test facility. The images, quickly reposted across defense forums and social media, captured a jet unlike anything previously seen from China. By midday, satellite analysts had geolocated the photos to a newly built hangar complex at Chengdu, matching roof shadows and taxiway markings with commercial satellite passes from Maxar and Planet Labs. The aircraft's serial number, 36011, became the basis for a new code name, J-36. Within hours, the images drew the attention of Aviation Week, which published a short analysis labeling the jet as China's next-generation stealth project. The article included a prominent disclaimer, designation unconfirmed, based on visible serials and analyst consensus. Across the Pacific, open-source intelligence teams began dissecting every detail: wing sweep, inlet shape, exhaust configuration, while watermarking their reposts with unverified and source metadata. The provenance strips, sometimes embedded directly onto the images, traced the leak from an anonymous Weibo account to Western defense circles in less than 24 hours. Chinese authorities responded with an immediate clampdown. Social media platforms inside China deleted posts referencing the new jet. Aviation bloggers received takedown notices citing national security, and forum threads discussing the J-36 vanished overnight. Even international platforms saw a wave of copyright claims and removal requests, often referencing vague privacy or state secrets laws. Despite official denials from the People's Liberation Army Air Force insisting that no such program existed, independent open-source intelligence groups continued to validate the imagery. Satellite timestamps, hangar construction timelines, and notices to airmen for restricted airspace at Chengdu all lined up with the leaked photos. The speed and scale of the censorship only fueled speculation. Aviation Week sources described the aircraft as a possible unmanned or optionally manned stealth platform, with radar-absorbing paint and a blended, low observable profile. Analysts noted that the serial numbers were sometimes blurred or cropped in subsequent leaks, a classic sign of operational security practice. Meanwhile, Western defense experts debated whether the leak was a genuine slip or a calculated signal, timed perhaps to coincide with Mao Zedong's birthday, a date heavy with symbolic weight in Chinese military tradition. By the end of December, the J-36 was a fixture in defense commentary worldwide. Open-source intelligence analysts from Justin Bronk at RUSI to the team at Shadowbreak International publicly assessed the images as authentic, matching prior patterns seen in earlier Chinese stealth rollouts. Still, every repost carried a warning. All details remain unconfirmed, and every image should be treated as a potential information operation. In the absence of official confirmation, the J-36's existence depended on a chain of evidence: photos, satellite data, and the relentless scrutiny of the open-source community. The mystery had entered public view, but the facts remained shrouded in watermark and provenance strip as the world waited for the next clue. The J-36's silhouette stands apart from anything in the current Chinese arsenal. Its tailless diamond delta planform, sometimes described as a ginkgo leaf in state media, eliminates vertical stabilizers entirely, blending wing and fuselage into a seamless, low observable shape. This geometry isn't just for show. By aligning leading and trailing edges, the design aims to scatter radar waves away from threat radars, reducing the aircraft's signature across multiple angles. The broad, flat upper fuselage houses what analysts believe is a multi-bay internal weapons system, with enough volume to carry up to 8 long-range missiles. Side-by-side cockpit seating, a feature rarely seen in Western stealth fighters, hints at a focus on command, control, or even unmanned teaming. Underneath the skin, propulsion remains the biggest question mark. Recent imagery confirms a trijet layout: 3 widely spaced engines, each fed by its own diverterless supersonic inlet. The most credible candidates are derivatives of the WS-15 or the newer WS-19, both under development for China's 5th and 6th generation projects. If all 3 engines approach the 36,000-pound thrust rating of the WS-15, the J-36 could boast a total thrust of over 100,000 pounds, on paper rivaling or surpassing the F-22 in raw power. Yet the status of these engines remains unconfirmed, with no evidence of sustained supersonic flight or operational reliability. Satellite and ground photos show extensive ground handling equipment and heat signatures consistent with high-thrust testing, but no flight logs or export records have surfaced. The F-35, by contrast, relies on a single Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine, producing about 43,000 pounds of thrust. While less dramatic than a trijet, it's a proven system enabling Mach 1.6 speeds and a combat radius of nearly 1,400 kilometers. The American jet's internal bays carry 4 air-to-air missiles, and its carefully sculpted nozzle further reduces infrared and radar visibility. The trade-off for the J-36's ambitious layout is complexity. 3 engines mean more weight, more maintenance, and more potential points of failure. But if Chinese engineers solve the reliability puzzle, the combination of power, range, and payload could allow the J-36 to outlast and outreach its rivals over the vast distances of the Pacific Theater. Rumors surrounding the J-36's sensors have fueled intense debate among defense analysts. Chinese sources claim the jet is equipped with a wide-aperture active electronically scanned array radar built around gallium nitride transmit-receive modules. If true, this technology could offer higher power and greater resistance to jamming than the F-35's proven gallium arsenide-based AN/APG-81. Yet independent verification remains elusive. Open-source intelligence confirms laboratory-scale gallium nitride modules in China since 2022, but no public evidence shows mass production or operational deployment on fighter aircraft. Most Western experts agree prototypes are flying, but question whether the J-36's radar can match the reliability and integration standards of the F-35's combat-tested system. Beyond radar, the J-36 is rumored to feature an advanced infrared search and track system. This approach allows passive detection of enemy aircraft without emitting signals that could betray its location. Patent filings and academic papers linked to Chengdu Aircraft Corporation describe multiband infrared search and track arrays and AI-driven data fusion, technologies designed to spot stealth aircraft by their heat signatures or even subtle changes in the sky's background radiation. None of these claims have been independently validated, but their presence in Chinese technical literature suggests a serious push towards passive detection. Perhaps the most ambitious claim centers on autonomy. Aviation Week's sources describe an AI-assisted cockpit, possibly capable of managing drone swarms or flying the J-36 without a pilot. While the F-35 already supports pilot decision aids and automated threat prioritization, the J-36's rumored system would go further, acting as a command node in a networked battle, fusing data from satellites, drones, and ground stations in real time. This concept remains speculative, with no public demonstration or confirmed operational tests. Still, the direction is clear. China aims to compress the detection-to-decision cycle, betting that speed and automation will decide future air battles. In a duel where both sides are nearly invisible, the first aircraft to sense, process, and act could tip the balance if its technology works as advertised. 3 variables stand between theory and reality in the stealth war contest. First, engine maturity. The J-36's trijet configuration, built around derivatives of the WS-15 or WS-19, promises more thrust and range than any Chinese fighter to date. But as of mid-2025, there is no public evidence of sustained supersonic flight or operational reliability. Every sighting, taxi trials, heat signatures, ground equipment confirms testing, not deployment. Without a proven engine, range and endurance, projections remain just that: projections. Second, data link resilience. The F-35's MADL and Link 16 networks have been stress tested in dozens of real-world operations, enabling encrypted, jam-resistant communication across platforms and allies. J-36's network ambitions, AI fusion, drone command, off-board targeting, are ambitious, but no open-source data confirms real-world, multi-node Chinese sensor fusion outside of test labs. If the data link falters in a contested environment, the edge shifts back to the proven logistics and interoperability of the F-35 fleet. Third, radar cross-section measurement. The J-36's Diamond Delta planform and radar-absorbent materials are designed for low observability, but no peer-reviewed or official RCS values exist. Analysts estimate a frontal RCS between 0.001 and 0.02 square meters, but these figures are extrapolated from imagery, not measured in anechoic chambers. The F-35's RCS is backed by decades of test data and operational secrecy, while the J-36's remains unverified. In a world where detection can flip outcomes in seconds, uncertainty in actual stealth performance is not just a technicality, it's a risk factor that could decide who survives the first exchange. A single line on a map can decide everything. In the Taiwan Strait, the distance from Chinese airfields to the median line is barely 200 kilometers. From Okinawa to the same point, American F-35s must cross nearly 700 kilometers of open water. On paper, the J-36's projected combat radius, estimated at over 1,300 kilometers, could allow it to reach the island, loiter, and return without refueling. The F-35A, with a combat radius of about 1,200 kilometers, operates closer to the edge of its envelope, especially when flying from bases in Japan or Guam. These range rings aren't just numbers. They dictate who arrives first, who stays longer, and who can afford to wait for an opening. In the South China Sea, the calculus shifts again. Chinese-controlled airstrips on the Spratly Islands extend the J-36's reach deep into maritime corridors, covering key shipping lanes and giving the People's Liberation Army a forward launch pad. F-35s based on carriers or allied airfields must factor in longer transit times and the risk of detection by overlapping sensor networks. Every kilometer added to the flight path means less time on station and a tighter margin for escape if things go wrong. The geography of the Pacific rewards endurance, and the side able to project fighters furthest without tankers or forward bases gains a critical advantage. In the Himalayas, altitude and terrain compress the battle space. Airfields sit at high elevation, reducing engine performance and missile reach. Here, both F-35s and J-36s would face shorter engagement windows, and limited maneuvering room. The outcome depends less on raw range and more on who can lock on first. Both jets claim extremely low radar cross-sections, around 0.001 square meters head-on. Their radars, the F-35's AN/APG-81 and the J-36's rumored GAEN/AEC, are designed to spot enemy stealth at just 20 to 35 kilometers, sometimes less. In these conditions, the first jet to achieve a firing solution within the missile's no-escape zone, roughly 25 to 40 kilometers for the AIM-120D or PL-15, could decide the fight before either side ever comes into view. Across all these theaters, the same question repeats: who gets the lock first? The answer is rarely absolute. In the Taiwan Strait, Chinese basing and range may favor the J-36. Over the South China Sea, distributed F-35 deployments and allied support could tip the balance. In the Himalayas, it comes down to sensors, signatures, and seconds. Each scenario turns on geography, missile reach, and the razor-thin margins of stealth warfare. Stealth was never meant to be a cloak of invisibility. As soon as a fighter takes off, it enters a sky thick with sensors, radar arrays, satellite relays, and a swarm of unmanned eyes that never blink. Over-the-horizon radar operating in the low-frequency bands can catch even the smallest radar cross-section. These systems, fielded by both the US and China, bounce radio waves off the ionosphere, sweeping vast stretches of airspace. Even the most advanced stealth profiles, the J-36's tailless delta or the F-35's faceted skin, can't erase their presence from these nets. Detection might not yield a firing solution, but it does shatter the illusion of surprise. The next layer is built on numbers. Drone swarms, now a central feature of Chinese and American doctrine, saturate the battle space with sensors and jammers. An F-35 or J-36 might evade a single radar, but not a mesh of hundreds of autonomous platforms, each relaying heat signatures, electronic emissions, or even just the shadow of turbulence in the clouds. These networks can hand off tracks between air, sea, and space, painting a moving target with data from every angle. Survivability becomes a question of how long a pilot can stay hidden, not whether they can disappear entirely. Alliances and basing shape the odds. US F-35s rely on access to hardened runways in Japan, Guam, and Australia. But every base is a target catalogued in enemy war plans. Chinese planners study these footprints, betting that a few well-placed strikes or cyber attacks could ground dozens of jets before they ever take flight. Meanwhile, the J-36's reach depends on the resilience of its own network. Forward airstrips in the South China Sea, mobile radar barges, and a web of satellites overhead. The battle for air dominance is no longer just a contest of jets, but a struggle between entire sensor architectures. In this environment, stealth is a fleeting advantage. The real contest is between networks, who can find, fix, and strike first, and who can absorb a first blow without losing their edge. The outcome hinges less on the shape of a wing and more on the resilience of the web that supports it. By 2025, over 1,000 F-35s are in service with 17 allied nations, their capabilities verified in combat and exercises. In contrast, the J-36 remains unconfirmed by official Chinese sources, with only satellite imagery, leaked photographs from December 2024, and persistent censorship providing evidence of its existence. While the F-35's AN/APG-81 radar, MEDL data link, and combat record are documented in open sources, the J-36's sensor suite, engine maturity, and operational doctrine remain unknown. No official radar cross-section or deployment data for the J-36 has been published, and its true role, air-to-air superiority or deep strike, remains classified. What is clear? Regional air power is now shaped not just by platforms, but by networks, alliances, and the pace of technological change. The F-35 defines today's standard. The J-36, whether real or rumor, signals the stakes of the next contest. In a future stealth war, the winner may depend less on what's visible and more on what remains in the shadows of classified files.